Alright, so I'm going to handle this week's Amphibia review a little differently than I have the past several. This week we're talking about Thai Feud and Adventures in Catsitting, I believe were the titles of these. And instead of breaking it up into two semi-separate reviews, I'm just going to kind of talk about them at the same time. Because the thing I want to talk about most when it comes to these episodes is how well I think the show is doing right now of giving us episodes that are about one thing while really being about something else. Like, any good show with character stuff in it, with good character stuff in it, tends to do that, and Amphibia has always tended to do that. Like, you would have an episode about fighting a giant mantis, but it's really about Anne finding her found family or whatever, right? But I've never really talked about how good the show is at doing that. Because the plots of these two episodes, a dude with a food truck wants the recipes to Anne's mom's Thai food so that he can sell it because he appreciates it so much. Which, I mean, he talks about how it would have been cultural appropriation at one point in the episode. But it's clear that he really does appreciate her stuff, so I'm not sure I agree with that. And two, the planters feel like they're taking advantage of Anne's family. They want to pull their own weight, so they take the cat to the vet and then have to deal with the aftermath of losing the cat. Those are both super entertaining concepts for episodes, and they have really good stuff in them. Seeing how much the planters appreciate Anne's family and how much they want to not lose favor with them because they respect them so much and care about them so much already. They already feel like extended family to these people, at the least, right? That says something about the planters as a collective unit, which we don't get a lot of. We get a lot of Hop Pop does this and Polly does this. We don't get a lot of them as a unit and how their family deals with things, like emotional types of things like this. It's cool we're getting some of that from the perspective of them in this situation on Earth. And in Thai Feud, we get to see a little bit of Anne's mom's love language. She's stern and she's strict, but it's clear to the people in her life that if she's stern and she's strict with you, it means she actually cares about you. The people around her understand that, and it's clear that she doesn't take it too far, right? We also, in Adventures in Catsitting, get to see just how kind Anne's dad is. Like, her mom has a bit of a stronger personality, so we've gotten a better feel for her as a character at this point, I think. Getting a little bit of the dad, I feel, was a really good thing. Like, it really helped flesh out this new status quo, this new era of the show, right? But really, what the two episodes are about are these two groups finding out how they mesh with each other. In Thai Feud, it's all about Sprig trying to really prove himself to Anne's mom so that, like, he considers them part of his family because they're Anne's family and Anne is his family. He wants them to think of him as part of their family. And by the end, it's clear that Anne's mom, at least, does. And it was pretty cool. And there's this really cute scene where she, like, immediately regrets it, but it's too late. He's already family, and it was super cute. It played on that thing that we talk about more in media nowadays, about how family can be so gosh dang annoying, or worse. But it dealt with it in a playful kind of way that made it clear that these are people who genuinely appreciate each other. Even if they frustrate each other, it comes from a place of love. They don't, like, hate each other, or whatever. And Adventures in Catsitting was really about the planters learning just how appreciated they are by the people around them. Which hit me particularly hard, because if you guys have been following my social medias at all lately, Tumblr especially, you know I've been dealing with some stuff, and I'm not going to get into what exactly it is. But one of the things I have been dealing with a lot has been self-worth issues. And a bunch of you guys over on Tumblr sent me fantastic well wishes. I appreciate that more than I could possibly say. But it also helped with my own self-worth issues, seeing there's a scene after the planters realize they need help. They can't do this on their own, so they have to call Anne's dad, even though they're worried that's going to make him feel more like they're a drain on the family, right? And he shows up and he helps them unquestioningly, and then when they voice their concern, he says something along the lines of, "You took in my daughter for 5 months out of the goodness of your hearts. You will never owe me anything." And that scene, that touching, well-written, well-acted scene of these fictional characters that I've invested so much emotional time into, realizing and being reminded of how much they're appreciated by the people around them, helped me to rethink things and realize how much I'm appreciated by the people around me. Like, obviously the real people helped more, but it didn't hurt. And I feel like I wish I could tell the crew who made this show, and specifically the writers on this episode, how much that meant to me, you know? It was just very nice to see a scene like that written into a show like this. However, so far, this season has been slower than I expected it to be. And this isn't so much as a criticism as just an observation. Let's say an observation is probably the best word for it. And some expectations that I hoped and turn out to be true. This season's been a little slower than I expected it to be. And I understand why. Sprig especially feels like he's undergoing an arc in this new place. And it makes sense because even though Sprig was a pretty well-realized character already, he's been thrown into a new location with all these new people, and that's an exciting situation to be in. And Sprig is a very excitable character. I understand that they're going to give him something of an arc on Earth to parallel Anne's arc when she arrived at Amphibia. But man, I hope they hurry it up, because Sprig is a well-realized enough character that they don't need to give us the same length of an arc for there to be a successful parallel. Like the same length of an arc that Anne had, right? Because it took her the whole first season to undergo her arc, basically. And it's not that I'm not enjoying Sprig's character development. I am, but we only have one more season of the show. This is the last season of the show. And there's all the character stuff that's already been set up, and all of the lore stuff that's already been set up, that all has to pay off before it ends. And I was kind of expecting we'd get stuff like this during Monster of the Week plots, and we haven't been so far. And I still get the sense we're going to get to that, and I get the sense that they're not going to dwell on this. But I hope that sense is correct. Because I feel like if they keep going at the pace they're going to have to rush some stuff that I don't want them to rush. If that makes sense. I still have total faith in this crew. Thank you for messing up my take class. Because this is a good crew, and this is a fantastic show. I'm sure they know what they're doing. I just wanted to put it out there. I wanted to voice that particular thought. But yeah, in case you couldn't glean from how much I had to say about these that wasn't even technically like summations of the plots of these episodes, because I didn't even really do that at all. I apologize. These episodes were both good. I enjoyed them a lot. They gave me a lot to think about, and they made me feel a lot of things, which is objectively, I think, pretty freaking cool. As per usual, though, if you have seen the Amphibia episodes, Thai Feud and Adventures in Catsitting, what did you think of them? Let's get a discussion going in the comments section down below. And while you're down there, you might as well like the video, share it with anyone else you think would enjoy my content, subscribe if you haven't. You can also check out the various ways you can help out the channel. Those will be in the video description. But either way, this has been AJ22, and I will talk to you guys later.